High-tech types think that, among other things, computerized creatures will become the family pets of the future. Except that unlike dogs and cats, those creatures will probably be able to talk back to us.
I can speak Spanish. Hola, mi nombre es TOPO.
In the early 80s, the tech industry believed it was on the cusp of a breakthrough that would bring robotics to the consumer market. Leading the charge was one of the Silicon Valley darlings of the era who seemed unstoppable. In a few short years, however, the costly initiative crashed and burned, transforming a tech superstar into a struggling entrepreneur.
I keep one of these in my office as a reminder to not fall in love with small little things that are cute.
As investors today pour funding into a myriad of robotics firms, banking on the so-called ChatGPT moment in robotics being around the corner, let's look back at one of the first attempts to bring robotics to households.
Our guest this afternoon has been called the P.T. Barnum of Silicon Valley.
Nolan Bushnell was a superstar in the tech world when he launched Androbot in 1982. His ascent began in the 1960s, where the entrepreneur-to-be was exposed to early computer graphics and video technology as an electrical engineering student at the University of Utah. In 1972, he founded Atari, which pioneered the video game industry with Pong.
Hit me, Atari.
Sorry, Miss Channing.
Warner Communications bought Atari for $28 million in 1976. Bushnell's personal cut of $15 million, or about $78 million today adjusted for inflation, helped fund his next venture, Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. The first Chuck E. Cheese opened in May 1977 in San Jose, California, in Silicon Valley, where Bushnell was based. Robotics played a central role at the first restaurant that combined arcade games, pizza, and interactive entertainment. Inspired by Disney's audio animatronics, Bushnell sought to bring interactive, robotic entertainers to the masses. The original animatronic cast included Chuck E. Cheese, Pasquale the Chef, Krusty the Cat, Dolly Dimples the Hippo, and Jasper the guitar-playing dog. With pre-programming, the mechanized puppets moved their heads, mouths, and arms in sync with pre-recorded dialogue. Servo motors and pneumatics controlled character movements. They operated on a fixed performance loop, similar to Disneyland's Enchanted Tiki Room. Multiple show modes allowed for different performances throughout the day. The franchise exploded in popularity throughout the United States after going public in 1981. To Bushnell, Chuck E. Cheese's runaway success illuminated a path toward commercializing robots for home use. And in 1982, he set out to do exactly that.
We have chosen the phrase the year 180 to identify the beginning of a new industry, an industry of personal robots, which we will call the age of Androbotics.
Bushnell established Androbot in Sunnyvale, California, the heart of Silicon Valley. The entrepreneur secured funding through his Catalyst Technologies incubator and private investors. An estimated 30 to 50 employees worked at Androbot, including former Atari engineers and robotics specialists. The small but highly skilled team drew inspiration from industrial and research robots. Their first robot generated huge media hype upon its debut at the 1983 Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
If you've always wanted a real robot,
David, lunchtime.
Heinz gives you a chance to win one of 2 TOPO robots from Futuretronics, each with a home computer, in the Heinz Win a Real Robot competition.
TOPO was a programmable humanoid robot that could move around based on user input. Controlled by an Apple II computer using a basic programming interface, TOPO was geared toward tech enthusiasts.
So TOPO won't clear the table and wash the dishes, not yet anyway. But with the help of your home computer, you can program him to tell jokes, sing, or say anything. And your imagination need not be limited to just English.
I can speak Spanish. Hola, mi nombre es TOPO.
The early attempt at interactive home robotics had no built-in intelligence. Priced around $1,000, a TOPO robot would cost more than $4,000 today. The price point was a little less than the cost of an Apple II computer, which was growing in popularity in schools at the time. Androbot's first device never reached mass retail stores, with an estimated 1,000 to 2,000 units produced.
Fingerprint. Oh, I've been looking for this guy. I sent him on a little. Yeah, I sent him on a little errand earlier.
Dave.
Yeah, right here will do. Stop. That's fine. Thanks a lot. You can go now. That'll be all for the time being. You want anything? Oh, well, while you're out there, Topo.
Despite the flop, the robot managed to enter the Italian pop charts as one half of the duo TOPO and Roby. The collaboration with American-Italian vocalist Simona Zanini received significant airplay in Europe and reached the top 20 in France.
Your humble servant.
Bob, get me a beer.
Androbot's second robot, Bob, was more autonomous. With integrated microprocessors and sensors, the robot could move around and avoid obstacles.
Very good, Bob. Thank you, pal.
Androbot marketed Bob as a home assistant.
Topo would really just do what the computer told it to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Bob was the Cadillac, the starship. This was meant to be the be-all and end-all robot. Brains on board is what it stood for. It had multiple processors, a cool operating system, and censored to the hilt.
F.R.E.D, a 1984 variation of Bob, added speech synthesis so the robot could communicate simple messages. In 1984, the team also developed the concept for Androman, a radio-controlled robot that would work as a gaming peripheral. Fewer than 600 Bob and F.R.E.D robots were sold, and Androman never made it to production. Androbot collapsed in 1985.
Androbot, this was my swan song. Remember how I told you about losing money? Wow. Yeah. 26 million of cash, my own cash, into that little guy. And I keep one of these in my office as a reminder to not fall in love with small little things that are cute. This was really a product that I fell in love with. Could not solve technical problem. The market was there. We were doing, we had big orders. If a computer crashes in a robot, it ain't like the blue screen of death. It becomes actual death. We used to call it the mow the baby mode, and which is not really a good place to be. Anyway.
Investors were excited about robotics after seeing computers and video games take off. But the gap between expectations and reality was much wider than anticipated. Androbot's shuttering came at a low point for Bushnell.
Is there a bid for either one or two kitchen and restaurant equipment?
Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater in Irving hasn't had a crowd like this for a long time. That's part of the reason it went broke.
The 1983 video game crash devastated the arcade industry and sunk Chuck E. Cheese's profits. The company overexpanded, leading to financial strain. The franchise filed for bankruptcy in 1984, and Bushnell was forced out as part of the process.
Right now, robots like my friend Topo are an entertaining extension of the home computer. But in the very near future, they'll not only do Windows, they'll perform jobs beyond our wildest imagination.
Though his early attempt at consumer-grade robotics failed, its influence endures to this day. Androbot's failure discouraged investment into consumer robotics for years. Concepts introduced by Androbot were later realized in products like iRobot's Roomba and Sony's iBo. However, Bushnell's vision, which was ahead of its time in the 80s, has yet to be realized by anyone. Today, a growing array of robotics firms are working toward commercializing home robots. Competitors in the emerging market include tech giants, scrappy startups, and arguably the most powerful businessman in the world. Yet no clear winner. Bullish investors see an emerging market potentially worth trillions, while skeptics predict a spectacular failure. To stay up to date as the market evolves rapidly, make sure to subscribe.